Hey, welcome to Cooking with Honey. Today we're going to be canning some sloppy joes. So what's better to have something on the shelf that you can just warm up and be ready on those nights. So I guess we can chit chat on catching up. I know I was supposed to post this on Tuesday. We got a little bit of softball going on, weather and different things. So it's Thursday. I'm a little behind, but I'm here. So we will do some catching up and talking about different things. We don't have a lot going on right now around the homestead. We are still working on the coyotes that I mentioned last week. He's building a different trap for y'all to see because the snare is just not working. Kids, like I said, school and busy doing everything. It's starting to warm up. It's been in the 60s, the high 60s and 70s here in central Arkansas. And so I've been out in the greenhouse trying to play in the dirt and get my dirt therapy on because after a winter of coldness and ice and rain, I needed dirt therapy. So I have got several hundred starts of tomatoes and peppers, and I've got all my veggies starts going. I even started some different melons that require 80 to 100 days germination. I also am now starting all my flowers, which I'm a little behind. I usually like to do the winter sowing and get ahead on those, but I have hollyhocks going, my different vines. I'm going to be planting some zinnias to get them a head start. I did that last year where I planted some in the greenhouse about a month before the last frost. So I'm kind of running late because it's about 2-3 weeks before our last frost now. So they actually done really good. It was the little flower girl zinnia from Floret that I done, and the unicorn zinnias from Floret. So there was a couple different ones I had done. I think I done some canary, some different ones from Baker Creek. And they all done really well versus the ones that I planted in the ground for succession sowing. Cut and come agains though are my favorite to direct sow, so I'll be doing that. I do have some Mongolian sunflower seeds that I acquired through a seed trade from an awesome lady that she had grew some and she had some extras and she sent me some. And I have also, didn't realize it, but I had actually ordered some. So I'm going to be doing those kind of in a trial run side by side to see how they are. You know, the ones that were saved and then versus the one that I got off of, probably, I can't remember now. I'll have to link it below. I have Pro-Cut Plum, the Pro-Cut White, and several other Pro-Cuts that I'll be using for my cut flower arrangements. I collected seeds on my dahlias last year, or dahlias. I have a lot of people call it dahlias. My whole life, everybody's called them dahlias, so dahlias. I have, what else do I have? I have a lot. I'm a seed hoarder. I try not to start them all because I know I don't have places for them all yet, but we are working at getting a load of compost in. The backhoe is actually going to be fixed this weekend, y'all. The part comes in Friday, so I'm excited. Wes is going to spend all day Saturday getting the backhoe part fixed and put back together. So that means garden's getting made, so this girl's happy. Easter's coming up. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So I gotta figure out some things for that. We might do a canning on something that I can use for Easter, or we might do a dessert. You know, some jelly, some preserves, something that I have on hand, or something out of the freezer. So just some stuff like that. So spring's on the way. Farmers market's going to be heading off. Got a lot of potting up to do of the tomatoes and peppers that I'll be bringing. I have the willow trees I got to show you that we rooted, y'all. The leaves are big, the roots are big. I threw a couple. I had a snowberry cutting that I had ordered from somewhere that they sent me 2 of. I dropped them in there and they're rooting. Because, you know, like I said, the willow water that you root your willow trees in makes great rooting compound. It's a natural rooting compound. So I'll be sure to post on my Facebook page a couple pictures of those. I have posted on the Facebook page. If you're not familiar with our Facebook page, it's Honey Hole Mountain Homestead. I think to look it up, it's at Honey Hole Mountain 09 or Honey Hole 09. I'll have to double check and link that below. You can look in our profile. We have a link there. We also have an Instagram. So just look, and I just post updates daily, usually of what's blooming around the farm, what we got going on, you know, just kind of keep y'all in the loop of everything. So, because the kids, we have softball games 3 times a week right now, and some of the games are 2 hours away. Wes is working. I will be going to get Dalton from blind school, so y'all get to see him. Eli will be coming up. Harley and Brian, Emma and Alyssa, they're always here. They hide from the camera, but I like to just open up and let y'all see what it's like to have all of us in this tiny house. I'm waiting for Wes to finish framing up the steps and where we join the new room and the kitchen, so you'll be able to see that. There's a lot of different things I want to show you. I have bits and pieces that I've already videoed and kind of wanting that final pizzazz videos, you know. But come on with me and let's do this sloppy joe. We've talked long enough. Come on, y'all. Bell pepper to me is like one of those things that you either love or you hate, because you can have too much of it and it overpowers something, or you can just really love it and just eat it all the time. I personally like it raw. I like stuffed bell peppers, but I know my kids can pick out a bell pepper taste a mile away, so it's like I have to be careful with how much I add. I know this recipe calls for a whole cup of it. Don't think this is going to be a whole cup, which it was kind of 3/4 of a bell pepper because I used some the other night when I made stuffed manicotti. So, like I said, I only used 1/4 of it in those, and I probably had 30 stuffed manicotti. So, like I said, this will probably be 3/4 of a cup, maybe. We'll see. So, trying to get it diced pretty thin, which I could have pulled out the food processor and got it really, really thin, but less dishes, the less I have to wash. So it's all about preparation, easy preparation. Does anybody else like to hide vegetables in their different meals and stuff so their kids can eat it? So I look forward to getting my dehydrator up and going for some of my stuff this gardening season. That way I can dehydrate it and get it into a powder form. That way I can hide it in stuff better, especially greens and stuff. My dream is to have one of the Harvest Right freeze dryers. That way I can really get stuff ground up to fine powders and get it in there. I think the greens like kale and spinach and stuff like that that my kids would turn their noses up, I can put in there. And mushrooms. I do look forward to freeze drying some mushrooms and making some mushroom powder. Tomato powder. Just different things that come in easily. Making your own seasonings to me is just so much better than store-bought, because you know what preservatives aren't in there. You know that it's all stuff out of your own garden, out of your own dirt. To me, it's just, and it tastes better. I mean, it's fresh. Who wouldn't want fresh stuff? Okay, let's see. Let's put our camera back up here. I like to go ahead while it's about this consistency it's about halfway cooked, and add our onions, peppers, and our garlic. That way it can be cooking down and those vegetables won't be as crunchy. If you like crunchier vegetables, you can add them after you've drained your meat. This is just a step that I do. This way they can cook down. All the grease and stuff from the hamburger meat helps soften them up. Boy, does it smell good in here. What is some of your childhood smells like? You know, what does triggers and brings back memories? I know cooking different things always brings back memories of me being in the kitchen with my granny. Especially when I was real little, my grandpa worked and she was always in the kitchen cooking for lunch because my grandpa and my dad and uncles and some of the other crew members there would come over because we lived right next to the shop that he was the superintendent for. So we'd always have these big lunches during the week. And everything I cook or sometimes taste or smell, and it just brings back those childhood memories of being in the kitchen with her up on a little step stool cooking away. And I guess, you know, my love of cooking came from that. You know, if it wasn't for my granny, I wouldn't know how to do a lot of things that I do. A lot of things I'm self-taught, but as long as she taught me my basic knowledge of in the kitchen and using stuff and basic homesteading, because back then, we went to the grocery store once a month, versus once a week like a lot of people do now. So, we're going to let this cook a little bit. Just let me know in the comment section what your favorite childhood meal is, or memory of cooking. Okay, so we have browned our 6 pounds of ground beef. And like I did earlier, I showed you where I had just threw in the onion. I did 2 cups of diced onion, 1 cup of diced bell pepper, and 6 cloves of garlic. Let that cook down. I drained it. Now we're going to add our tomato sauce. It's 4 cups of tomato sauce, 1/4 a cup of honey, 3 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and 1 tablespoon of yellow mustard, and some salt and pepper. I did about, I'd do 1 teaspoon of each. If you like it a little salty or a little peppery, just kind of do it to your own likings. And now we're going to add 1/4 a cup of apple cider vinegar. This is so much better than the manwich in a jar. Alright, give this a stir. We're going to let this come to a boil. Not really like a rolling boil, just enough, you know, that heats up all this. It's going to add 2 cups of beef broth to it. Because as you can tell, this is just a tomato sauce. And it's just kind of giving it that sloppy Joe look. But to can it, you know, you want some more liquid, so we're going to do that 2 cups of beef broth. You can smell that apple cider vinegar in there, which it'll kind of die down. That Worcestershire sauce, you know, gives it that little sweet tanginess. Then you got your honey and all that in there. Alright, let's do our beef broth. Like I said, it's 2 cups. Just come to a simmer, because this is a hot pack. You know, we're gonna do about 8 to 10 quarts. I'm probably gonna leave some out. Kids come home from school, they always want to eat, so I'll probably leave enough out they can have them some sloppy joes today. So we're gonna let this come to a simmer while I get the quart jars all washed and hot and ready, and get the canner filled up about 2 or 3 inches. I'm using my All-American. We're going to get the water warm. And then we're going to hot pack these in quart jars, leaving a 1 inch headspace, y'all. All this smelling good got me distracted. Ready for my lunch. So we're going to, with 1 inch headspace, and I will video doing that. That way y'all know. And we will put them in the processor and once it comes to starts feeding, we'll put our weight on for 10 pounds because I am under 1,000 elevation. And once it starts to kind of get that little, I start my time for 90 minutes. All meat is usually 90 minutes, so that way we'll get that going and turn it off and let it come to room temperature. And I always like to let it cool down really well when we get it out to sit to see if everything's sealed. Alright, y'all, let's sit there and let that come to a simmer. Don't that look good? The video don't do no justice in the red tomato sauce color it is. Alright, be back in a little bit. Alright, I brought it to a boil and I've been letting it simmer for about 10 minutes, so it is good and ready to start jarring up. I got my jars all washed and sterilized and clean. Got my water in my pot ready. So we're going to move this over and start canning, y'all. Alright, y'all. I'm trying to widen it out a little bit. There we go. It's a little bit different. I don't have my shelf today, so I can't really be showing the whole room and everything, so because I'm limited on space. Well, we're going to start with our quarts. The mixture's hot, so our glass jar's hot. Put that on there, and this is our canner, and it's getting warm. That way it can all be warm and brought up together. So I am going to ladle into here. I'm going to start out with quarts because we have a large family, and I want to have a couple on hand that way for suppers. But I am going to try to do a couple pints. That way, if anybody wants a snack, they have it. They can pop it open. And don't forget about that 1-inch headspace. So, I had to find my debubbler. Make sure I have it all out. Usually with a liquid you don't have that many problems with trap bubbles, but I still like to move it around in there and make sure we have that 1-inch headspace. We do. We're perfect on that. I'm going to take my rag, my white vinegar. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and get another one of these out. That way we don't make a mess when we move it. There. That way we can just move it right over to this. I'm going to put my vinegar on my rag. I'm going to wipe that, which I did get a little on the outside of the jar, so use that white vinegar. I'm going to wipe all around the lid there. And I'll be putting a splash in my canner as well. Let's get our... You don't have to warm the lids up, I don't think, anymore, but it's a habit. I like to do it. Put it on there. Finger tight, everybody. That's it. Just finger tight. You don't want them too tight. Put that down in there. Alrighty, let's fill this one up. So I'm going to move the pot a little closer so I'm not dripping everywhere. So these sloppy joes make a quick meal in the evenings. Throw them together. They'd be awesome with some sourdough buns. Oh, I can just smell that now. Those nice yeast buns. Oh, I think I got a little bit too much in that one. Let me get my spoon. Went over my 1-inch headspace there. I don't know, let me debubble it and see where I'm at. might be just right. Oh yeah, it's just right. I got ahead of myself. Alright. Wipe it down real good. You want that white vinegar to clean off any kind of greases or oil or something that would prevent you from getting a good seal on your jar. When you're tight, I'm going to wipe off the jar with that vinegar in case any ran down the side. Alright, let's get this one filled. I'm making a mess on my counter there. Might not have as much to do in the pints as I thought. This was 6 pounds of ground beef. So I might can get a little bit more in there. You know, when you're trying to put it and get just enough amount and you do a little bit too much, I might have done that just then. Let's see. Nope, you're perfect. Right. Clean this jar off. I'm gonna get me a new rag. I've been wiping the jars down. This that little thing we discussed in our beef stew that I got, and just kind of push it down. You get your white vinegar. Wipe the jar down. Anyway, in case anything seeped out, we have it under control. Warm lid. Finger tighten. Cross thread it. Alright, so do a couple of these pints. Up. Not quite 2 whole ladlefuls in that one, it filled it up too much. Get my spoon. You can see 2 scoops was too much. I got 2 jars out of this, and that's be about it. 2 pint-sized jars. You know, I was thinking I could get 3 of them. Made a mess on this one, so I gotta clean it real good. Because if you don't get it off the jar when you open it up after processing, you'll have grease all in your water. It'll be greasy. Alright. We'll do 1 more. So I got 2 extra jars. That'll be fine. I'll dry them and get them set up. What don't fit in here, I'll leave for the kids to have a quick snack after school. That was just right. 1 1/2 ladles full. I probably have enough to do 3 pints. I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. But like I said, I'm going to leave some for the kids to enjoy when they get home. I'll make some biscuits or something they can eat it with. Or I don't think we have any buns. Let's see. I think we got some hot dog buns. I guess I could eat it on that. Okay, got our 1-inch headspace. This cleaned off. Get them in the... They're heating up, getting ready to get their bath. 90 minutes. Because I have quarts in there. Finger tight. Alright, got them all in there. Take you over here so you can look in there. Like I said, it's got about 2.5 inches of water on it. It's just now coming to a boil. So let's get the top put on it. I'll move y'all up so y'all can see. There we go. I guess I need the oil. Let me put a little oil on the outside to make sure it seals. Just like to get a little bit of the olive oil and wipe around. That way I know it's got a good seal. Not a lot, because I think last time I put a little bit too much and I got the oil inside my, it ran in the water. Just want it where that metal touches metal, but I make sure it gets a good seal. Alright. Let's get this on here. Find my little notch. Oh, it's over there. I'm going to turn around backwards. There we go. Where it's even. Tighten on opposite sides, tighten it down. Don't tighten it so much, you gotta fight with it to get it off. Alright, we got it all tightened up. We're going to wait for it to start venting at a steady vent, which it's getting there. It's wanting to bubble now. Let me see if y'all can see that. Hang with me. Alright, really. Can't see the steam coming out just yet. It's got a little bit coming out. Always when you're cleaning your canner, make sure there's nothing of grease or anything trapped in here. That way it don't get stopped up. There, it's wanting to start to come out. Alright, y'all. See y'all in. Once it starts steaming, I'll put the weight on it at 10 pounds. Let it go for 90 minutes, and we'll be back. So we got like 5 minutes left on the pressure canner over there on the stove. There it is. So I just want to hop on here real fast. I will be showing you the final results of our Sloppy Joe in a can. But while I had you, we had talked about serving our Sloppy Joes on some homemade yeast buns. And I wanted to show you what I got in the mail. It's the Otis sourdough starter from Whispering Willow Farm. Jill over at Whispering Willow Farm, she's also in Central Arkansas, has this on her website. You can get the starter like I did, or if you've never done sourdough, she has a course, her and the Mindful Farmer put together. That way it can walk you through on how to do your sourdough. So this will be happening here in our kitchen next week. So I'll be sure to put the link down below. So everybody, thanks for tuning in with us today, and we'll look forward to next week, and we'll figure out what we're canning. Thanks. All right. This thing came down to pressure, and it's been sitting probably for 30 minutes or so after it came down to pressure. I unscrewed it, and we always open it up away from our face. Oh, it looks good. Let's see. Let's put this over here. I've yet to find my jar tongs, so. Oh, it's hot. Oh, there's one. There. It looks so good. And we're going to let these sit for 24 hours. Probably not that. It's probably overnight. They look like they have all sealed. Dry them off. Let this water cool off a little bit more. I might can pour it out. Nope, still too hot. This is going to cool off a little bit. So, there we go. Let me take you down here so you can look. They're still hot. Some of them are still bubbling. There we go. We have sloppy joes. So one night we got softball, baseball. We can plop them in the thing, heat them up, and we are good to go. Let's see. Thanks, guys. Come back and can with me next week. Thanks.